The other day, I was out for a business dinner with a more informal vibe. Besides the usual strategic topics, the new Apple commercial that promotes privacy was one of the topics that ignited some spark in the evening discussion. Why, you may ask? Isn't privacy a good thing? Well, it is, and sometimes it isn't. But before going into the details, here's a quick overview of why the Apple commercial is contradictory. Apple uses privacy as a leverage in communication against its key competitors like Meta and Google, who are known to take this issue less seriously. However, Apple forgets to mention that you also share data with them when you use their products. Yes, they don't share that data with the competitors anymore, but that doesn't mean they don't use it. To be clear, I use Apple products and I'm pretty happy with them. Nonetheless, I resonate with other digital leaders who foresee that the company will launch its ad platform in the near future. Once this happens, all their privacy claims will have less ground to stake. With that said, let me elaborate on why data privacy is overrated. Since GDPR was launched in Europe 3 years ago, people have started to be aware of what happens with their data. And I believe that is a good thing. However, awareness didn't bring the necessary motivation for most people to understand when and why privacy is a good thing and when is the contrary. On the one hand, this bothers me. And on the other hand, I would like to take responsibility and shed some light on the topic that hopefully will inspire people to think beyond the surface of privacy propaganda. Before we start, here's an exercise that will set the ground for thinking. Open any of your social media apps, scroll for 60 seconds and count how many ads you saw. Also note down how many were relevant, and by relevant I mean you're in need of that specific solution, product, or service right now. You can pause the video, or if you want, you can skip this exercise and I will share my numbers. So in 60 seconds, I saw 9 ads. From that, 0 were relevant and 4 were almost relevant, meaning the topic was in my area of interest, but their offering was not for me. And 5 had nothing to do with me. You can run this test on multiple platforms, and while the results may vary, one thing you will see for sure. There are a lot of ads that are not for you. Sometimes it's due to a bad timing, you already purchased a similar solution before. Sometimes it's due to bad pricing, it's not the pricing you're looking for. Sometimes it doesn't match your quality expectation, either too low or too far on the premium edge. And sometimes there are other reasons. So aren't we all bothered by these ads? Well, of course we are. But besides complaining, what can we do? Well, it depends. Option A, if you're not a decision maker in a company who works with data, then you can't do much about it. But even so, you could learn to be conscious of the rules you apply when protecting your data. Whenever you decide to keep a data set private or not, ask this question. Does this privacy create value for me or take value from me? For example, if you're gluten intolerant, then sharing this with your local restaurants would make sense, because that way you wouldn't get food offers that are not relevant to you. So in this case, it makes sense to share your data, right? Another example would be sharing location data on your social feed. This might give out information for potential thieves on when to rob your home. So in this case, it's better to keep your data private. Now let's see option B. If you're a leader in technology, marketing, or sales who works with data, then help your team understand that relevancy is critical. For example, if somebody's reading about cycling, it doesn't mean that tomorrow they want to buy a new bicycle. Thus, don't target only based on reading interest. To be relevant, you need to identify behavior patterns that narrow down the error of being irrelevant to your audience. There's even a fancy term that describes this. It's called hyper-personalization. You can read more about it here. Anyway, often getting the right data will be a challenge because there are cases when it looks like that the data you need isn't there. Be it because people don't want to share it or lack of strategy and sometimes technology to capture it. If you're curious about how to do that, I will talk more about it soon on a live webinar you can register here. As I said, this is quite a challenge to solve, and that's why this is the point where many give up. But they shouldn't. It is possible to find ways to become more relevant in your communication. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Not only for your business, but also for society. Digital noise is underrated, and for all of our peace of mind, we need to decrease that noise as soon as we can. If you want to dive deeper into data capturing strategies, drop me a message on LinkedIn. Also, if you're interested in learning more about digital transformation, subscribe here on YouTube or follow me on LinkedIn.